Welcome back to a professional match of StarCraft 2. Today it's time for a best of 5 series of Terran versus Protoss, where in game number 1 we find ourselves on Romanticide. So spotting here in the top left-hand corner of the map, playing with the blue SCVs from Mexico, we have SpeCial. His opponent in the opposite corner with the red Protoss probes from South Korea, we're looking at PartinG's main Nexus. Alrighty, now I covered PartinG a couple of days ago in a previous YouTube video as well, so let us talk a little bit more about SpeCial. I'm assuming most of you know that SpeCial is one of the best Terran players outside of South Korea. He's been practicing over in Korea though for a long time. Actually, I don't know if he's currently there, but he likes to spend a lot of time over in Korea, and because of that, his skill level has gone up quite a lot as well. Now, it's kind of funny. The main event currently in StarCraft, as far as like tournaments go, is the DreamHack SC2 Masters, right? I believe that's what the tournament is called. And there's like a summer edition, a winter edition, a fall edition. There's a couple of different editions, right? So the main event, the main season finals, is coming up, I think, in July. Starting at that, like I want to say the 3rd or the 4th. Anyways, doesn't really matter too much. It's right around that time of the year, so in a couple of weeks from now. However, leading up to that particular event, leading up to that season finals, there are regional finals as well. And those have been legitimate tournaments with very high prize pools and all the rest of it as well, right? Now, what's kind of funny is that SpeCial has been winning every single one of the Latin American versions of those qualifiers. Now, what I find a little bit ironic, I don't really know exactly what the specific rules of the tournaments are, but there is a European version, there's like an Oceanic version, there's a Korean, there's a North American one, there's a Latin American one, right? And since SpeCial is from Mexico, I guess he's in the unique position where he could theoretically participate in a North American version of that tournament as well if he wanted to. I mean, I guess you can only sign up for one, but he's instead just been signing up for the Latin American one, and he's been winning. You know, he's far and away the best player from that region, right? Like, no disrespect to anyone else there, but yeah, he's very good. It's kind of funny because he's been just cruising his way through those finals as well, recently winning, I believe it was 4-0 to Eric, I believe. I'm not entirely sure. I didn't even see the game, so I just saw the results. But anyway, SpeCial has been absolutely trashing that scene. You can't really blame him, though. I mean, the way it works, if I'm not mistaken, is like if you win the entire regional thing in Latin America, you get automatically qualified for the season finals. And obviously, well, SpeCial definitely has a shot going through like the North American one as well if he really wanted to. I mean, he's much more likely to you know, to win the Latin American version, because otherwise you have to play with, you know, people like Neep and Scarlet and Estrella, and there's a bunch of really good players that are from the North American region. But anyways, let us see exactly what ends up going down right here on Romanticide. Usually a bit more of a macro-focused map, although this is PartinG we're talking about. PartinG, of course, big fan of playing very aggressively. I enjoy watching this man play PvT quite a lot. Not afraid at all to play very cheesy. Zealot has decided to move across the map together with this Adept as well. I think he should be able to kill the Adept. Yeah, there you go. With some good micros, should be okay. And indeed, that Zealot is going to be in a little bit of trouble right now as well, as Jimmy and the boys just got joined by a couple of other lads. Can he get a... Nah, he's not gonna... No, come on, man! That just feels bad. If you're a Terran player right now, it doesn't matter because it's just one Marine. I mean, not to say that Jimmy wasn't important, but that's just like a moral victory right there for PartinG, even though this is definitely still a very good spot right now for SpeCial to be in. Anyways, Romanticide, as I've said many times before, it has this really big ramp that leads towards both the natural expansion as well as the third base. Generally speaking, this is like the main point of entry. I mean, obviously you can fly units into the main base, and you can run around and like try and hit the third from that angle instead. But most of the time, this is a more macro-focused map, because if you can take control of this ramp, you should be A-okay. Especially when Protosses get like, I don't know, Colossi out, or like, I don't think he's going to rush Colossi because this is PartinG, right? He's already going for the Blink upgrade, of course, because that's what he does. But if you say, for example, you have a Disruptor over here or a Colossus, I mean, you can deal so much damage down that ramp. It's just very difficult to push on. And obviously, the same can be said right now for SpeCial. He's going to have a much easier time securing the third base if he sets up a couple of photon cannons around this perimeter here. Generally speaking, there's not a whole lot that Protoss can do. Anyways, that is assuming that PartinG isn't going to be able to end the game here within the next couple of minutes. If you're a weaker Terran player, you definitely go down to the Man's Blink Stalker control. How many gateways are we talking right now? It's just 4. 4 gateways right here in a prism. Blink is going to finish up. The sky technically is the limit though, right? When you micro stalkers within the prism as well. I mean, obviously you can get the high ground vision right there with that prism to blink into the main base, but you can also blink the stalkers individually. You can pick up the low HP ones when the blink is on cooldown inside of the prism. There's a lot of potential here. Either way, he's just going to use this as a little bit of pressure to leverage himself into a third base. I don't mind it. Warping in a couple of stalkers here at once. Scan over here confirms, that there was an observer close by, but he's not going to be able to kill that. One siege tank in a natural, one inside of the main base. Raven's coming up as well. Love that positioning right there on that siege tank too, as well as the one over here. It's going to be very difficult to get much done here as Protoss. I mean, you can obviously blink forward, kill one of the tanks, but is this going to deal game-ending amount of damage? Well, he will be able to grab the bunker as well. Yeah, good bit of control here. The more SCVs you can kill, the better this becomes. Now, this might be a little bit overly ambitious, though, PartinG. Yeah, no way. There's a lot of Marines there. So Marines don't have their Stimpack upgrade or combat shield or anything along those lines just yet. In the meantime, by the way, on the other side of the map, we did apparently have a Banshee picking up a couple of worker kills as well. Yeah. We probably won't see Stimpack and combat shield until additional barracks are produced, which should be coming up relatively soon here for SpeCial. But it does mean that, yeah, we're setting ourselves up once again for a bit more of a passive game. Although I say that, once again, blink into the main base. It's not a huge commitment, because obviously he knows that all of the Protoss, or sorry, all of the Terran units are stuck in a natural expansion. By the time that the Terran arrives, he's going to be able to blink out again. Can he target fire down that one? Yes, he will. Nicely done. Ooh. Almost got another one. Look at how annoying he is with this, though, right? Super frustrating to have to play against. Cloaking field, by the way, is coming up. So 2 Banshees are out. The cloaking field is going to be available for them. There's only 2 observers out at this point. Third one, though, already in production. I wonder if that is a little too late. Okay, nice. The one Raven hit squad right there using its own ability. Losing the prism would be a disaster here, but good bit of control right... Oh my god, yeah. Very annoying. A lot of Marines, but if the control is good enough... Like, worst case scenario here for PartinG. Well, I guess worst case scenario is he loses the prism, but worst case scenario, assuming his control is correct, he has to, like, recall on out of there. Not a massive deal. So we're gonna go third Banshee, huh? 3 Banshees here in total. Okay. Third command center, though, is gonna float on over. Oh, he's gonna play mech? Ooh, okay, that's exciting. I haven't really seen mech in a long time, especially against... Oh, that's sick. That's why we're also seeing the Hyperflight Rotors upgrade coming up right now. That's the upgrade for the Banshees to get additional speed. That's super good. By the way, I think the third bench... No, it's still... Oh, it's over. Okay, I was gonna say I didn't see it on the minimap anymore. That could just be me, though. You know, I'm kind of known at this point to miss things that are in the middle of my screen. Anyways, Hyperflight Rotors, a speed buff for the Banshees. He's gonna play mech, so this is the best map for mech. But mech is very uncommon against Protoss. For one very good reason, I guess, and that is mostly Immortals, right? Immortals absolutely plow through a lot of those Terran mechanical units. They just simply deal so much damage. If it's up to PartinG, though, I mean, he is looking to just pile on the pressure over here. Hyperflight Rotors is one of those upgrades that's really good, but it also takes about 7.5 years to produce. So that research is just going to take forever. There's no way, though, right, with a Blink army, that he's going to break this? I mean, that's a lot of tanks. Okay, even completes the wall up right over here, which I really like. There's so many siege tanks here. Do you think PartinG picks up on this right now? Well, you might know that it's going to be mech. Okay, a little bit of missed target firing over there. Only one siege tank goes down. Second one goes down eventually. But this is a very expensive army to lose. Banshees right now coming in from the back as well. Can he grab one of them? He will not. Only a handful of SCVs really end up going down here. A couple of siege tanks as well. But this is now a really nice position for the Mexican Terran player. Okay. That explains why the blink, or sorry, the Stimpack and everything was so late as well, right? At least it felt very late. Doesn't really matter if you don't plan on pushing, but... Big Zealot warp in over here, okay. One downside of the Terran mech army is as well that it's very immobile. He still has a lot of Marines, though, which is really cool. So he's still at 13 Marines, and they're like the most mobile part of his army. Stalkers actually now blink forward as well. A couple of Zealots also get on top of some of this army. Whew. 5 siege tanks end up going down in total so far this game. I mean, I'm saying most of the time, at least back in the day when we used to see mech a little bit more regularly, it was mostly robo play that was really annoying. These days, though, it's become quite popular for Protoss players to build like 100 workers and just run Zealots and Stalkers in. Maybe that's an option? Look at these guys, though. Or these gals, I guess. Good control right there by PartinG. Grabs them before they really get into a crazy spot. Okay, he's going for a couple of Archons right now, or maybe some Storms as well. Very good options, but I do think you have to build a bit more of a sophisticated army. I say that, and PartinG apparently entirely disagrees. So this map, because of the layout, is quite good for mech. We used to see it from time to time, but double armory comes up as well. Most of the time with mech, there's like an harassment squad, so I guess that's what these Banshees were supposed to be, but they're not really getting that much done. And then, secondly, there is also the main army, right? Now, usually the main army doesn't really start rolling out across the map until it's maxed out. So Terran mech is really, really good, especially when it maxes out. That's kind of what you're looking for. So it's up to the Protoss player right now to get something done. 4th command center, though. I mean, this is in such a good position as well. Man, the 3rd base is completely left to its own. It's kind of scary, actually. Because if you know where the Stalkers are at, it's nice, but these Stalkers are pretty fast. Maybe, actually, you can also go for Disruptors. Disruptors against Siege Tanks are not bad either. Guess it makes sense that PartinG would go for the more micro-heavy army. Oh, God. Oh, my God. Hold up. Hold up. Hold up! While I was distracted watching those probes follow each other around, apparently there's a freaking storm drop happening. Oh, my God! In the entire mineral line. Pretty sure that's the fastest way to kill 18 workers. Jeez, he even gets the Prism out of there together with 3 of the High Templar. Wonderful move right there by the Protoss player. Well, that's one way of doing it, I guess. Ay, ay, ay. Alright. This doesn't really change the game plan of SpeCial too much, I don't think. He's like, okay, well, that sucks. I guess I go make more units. Generally speaking, you kind of just let that slide. Ay, ay, ay. This is bad, though. This is actually hundreds of minerals lost. Okay, now he notices, finally. Very painful. Blue Flame Hellions come in, though. If they were like 5 seconds faster, I'm pretty sure they could have killed way more, but it is what it is. Only 4 probes ended up going down here. 6 o'clock position being acquired. Double upgrades coming up as well for the Terran, though. He's going into Cyclones right now. Yeah, so he's just trying to create the beefiest army he can. The beefier, the better. Couple of Widow Mines also coming up. Basically everything that is mechanical is now, you know, part of the mix. Except for maybe Thors. I am a little concerned, though, because this Terran army is slow, and this Protoss army is really quick. Okay. A lot of siege tanks are going to be forced to sit over at these other bases, right? Because otherwise a couple of Zealots just charge in and kill the planetary fortress. These Banshees have not done anything. These Banshees have been... I'm not impressed. These Banshees have been kind of bad. So the idea is as well that you get a couple of either Hellions or Hellbats in front of the siege tanks when the Terran player is forced to defend against those Zealots. Because if the Zealots just charge straight at the siege tanks, you lose them really quickly. I just don't know if I like this unit composition here for PartinG, but maybe he's going to show me why, you know, people don't play mech very often. It's so Stalker heavy, though, right? Like, it's 26 Stalkers right now and 15 Zealots. He's got good upgrades on them, I guess. +3 is coming up right now. He's going into the Dark Shrine as well, which is nice and all. Adding on more gateways. We're going to go up to 18 gateways? What the hell? 18 gateways. Is that intentional? I almost feel like that's a mistake. Banshee's over here getting so much more work done. Okay, well, here we go. Apparently, this is the moment. Oh, my God. A lot of the siege tanks actually were distracted right there, shooting at one of the Zealots that was coming in from the north. This is the moment, though, where SpeCial can no longer retreat. PartinG has way too much stuff. A lot of those siege tanks in a very awkward position. Ooh, you know what? PartinG just shut that down. Immortals? Don't need them. Just Stalkers, man. Stalkers and a couple of Zealots to soak a couple hits. That being said, can he capitalize on this right now and kill that CC? Maybe he can. Well, this command center at the very least will go down. I was mostly talking about the planetary itself. Storm obviously still very good as well. Disruptor coming in from the side. Okay, not quite getting that much done. Man, what a wild game. Just in one match over here, we've already seen a variety of things happening. I'm really surprised that we, like, I was talking about how Immortals were really good against Terran mech, and that's because they are. But I'm really surprised that we haven't seen a single Immortal this game. It's just Observers and Disruptors, I guess, and a Prism or two coming out of that Robo facility. Just the gateway units is apparently you need, or all you need if you're good enough at the game. Well, at this point, I mean, I think there might just be a little bit too much Protoss. PartinG taking a page out of the Book of the Zerg. Trying to swarm it right now. Disruptors obviously are going to be available as well if he needs to roll them up the ramp. I don't think that's a bad idea. Either way, Planetary Fortress at this point is gone. A couple of probes also ended up going down on the other side of the map, but I don't think it's really important to look at that because there is way too much right now for Terran to deal with, right? Like, look at this. He's not even really using those Disruptors that often. He's just warping in more and more gateway units, and that seems to do the trick. So, did he really have, yeah, 18 gateways here? Whew. I actually kind of wish sometimes that, ooh, PartinG sends out a probe right away. I kind of wish sometimes that mech would be a little bit more popular. I mean, it sucks to play against in, like, Zerg versus Terran, because it's very similar to, for example, playing against SpeCial, it seems, where your main goal is to try and not let it max out. But in Protoss versus Terran, it seems so much fun, but I don't know. It seemed like just gateway units really dismantled that, right? Which is kind of funny. I guess it's like it's really similar though to playing Terran mech against Zerg. I mean, Protoss basically has full map control, assuming they can deal with like the Banshees and then also I guess the Blue Flame Hellions and stuff, right? Assuming though you can deal with those, you're gonna be a-okay because you can just expand all over the map and make as many workers as you want to, right? Anyways, it's just gonna be a nice little gateway right here on the other side of the map from PartinG. What exactly is SpeCial gonna go for, though? Decides to go for a second barracks of his own inside of his main base. Well, that may just work out really well. This is gonna be some dedicated pressure right here from PartinG. Obviously, he's very fond in doing that. He's a big fan when it comes to sending those units across the map. Probe right now goes into the main base. The question is, will it scout the second barracks? There's really no reason to suspect the second barracks, so unlikely. Yeah, I don't think so. It's Beckett Industries, by the way. This map is really good for Terran, so I'm not really surprised here to see that PartinG has decided to go for this aggression. So it's going to be it's not a super big committed push, by the way. It's just a gateway that gets the units in a little bit faster. The only downside, I guess, is that sometimes you end up losing this gateway and then you're a little bit behind if the game stabilizes. But pretty sure if it's up to PartinG, he doesn't want this game to stabilize in the first place anyway. Okay, so it's double Reaper production. The Zealot right now shows itself, so he knows at this point exactly what to expect. Bunker starts up immediately on the high ground. Okay. Grenade boops both of the units into the air. Oh, okay. He's gonna double down on this. So Cybercore was made at home, double gas acquired as well, and after the Cybercore finished, he's now transitioning as well towards a Stargate. So, I know MechSpecs, for example, right? I've shown that in a bunch of his games, and also actually PartinG himself. I know they're very fond of... Oh. They're very fond when it comes to building things on the Terran side of the map. We does see the pylon right now as well, so this is a big indication that, well, no, something's gonna follow this, and it's likely gonna be shield batteries. Good control here, though, by SpeCial, other than the 2 SCVs, I guess, that ended up going down. Is he gonna be able to kill the Stalker? He will. Stargate at this point is scouted too. Probe still hanging out over here on the right. So I'm assuming having a double barracks done at this point in the game is good, right? For the player that's forced to defend against this Stargate shenanigans. Because, I mean, sure, there's going to be Void Rays and stuff, and they're going to be able to heal themselves with shield batteries and whatnot. Can he see that? No, he can't. Nice. Nice moves actually there by PartinG. Yeah, if you're pumping out 2 Marines at once, you don't have to spend any time right here making a, making a tech lab and a reactor or anything like that, right? It should be okay. That being said, I mean, SpeCial didn't go for an expansion, so this is just one base versus one base at this point. And the tech lab on that factory is also going to be quite late, so Cyclones are not going to show up anytime soon. Oh god, okay. Is that worth it? I'm not entirely sure. A lot of Marines end up going down here. Starport immediately as a follow-up too. Shield batteries here coming up on the right side. So this is where, once again, that Void Ray shenanigans can go into the main base here of the Terran player. So PartinG can basically back up right there to the safety of the shield batteries. And then he should be A-okay. Ooh, okay. Fleet Beacon. So, you can make a couple of Void Rays, and that's fine. But if you can make a couple of Tempests, that's even more fine. That's finer. It's finer English. Okay, gets a depot, not bad. So if you get 3 of those Tempests out, you can start one-shotting most of these Terran units, which is extremely valuable. I don't think I like this too much, though, for PartinG, all things considered. I mean, SpeCial hasn't really taken any critical amounts of damage. He hasn't actually gone for the upgrade here inside of the tech lab, so he's forgoing the Cyclone improvement over there. Apparently feeling pretty confident about it right now. He also loaded up a couple of Marines inside of a plane. I like it, but it's also a risk. It is a big risk. Because if you don't get it, you're in a lot of trouble. So Tempests are coming up right now on the Terran side of the map. You need a whole load of them if you want to make use of this. But here's the real problem, though. Is he going to be able to recall? Okay, I love that he's unloading as well, though PartinG right now does see it. Is he forced to recall units at this point to deal with this, or is he just going to try and warp in over here instead? Theoretically, I think the warp-ins aren't very good. Oh my god, he gets... Oh, yeah, he does get one. Theoretically, I think it's not very good, because Terran can obviously pick up here as well. But it's going to be very difficult to pull off. Okay. Shield battery overcharge is going to be available, so he's going to have to wait before he can come back in for more. Very technical game here, though, for both of them. I mean, he could also just bring the Marines back home, forcing the warp-in over here, I guess. Maybe quite a lot, assuming he can deal with this. So there he finally realizes that that upgrade didn't start. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but I feel like having that would be so helpful right now on those Cyclones. It's an expensive one, though, so... Marines instead now unload right behind the production there of the Protoss. Killing this pylon here is actually huge. Oh my god, this is a massive deal. Yeah, right now, look at this. PartinG making the fly of shame over in this direction. Boosts on out of there once again. The rest of the Terran army moves down to the low ground. I mean, this is a Terran win, right? Really good stuff right here. Yeah, PartinG hits GG right now on the keyboard as well. Well done right here by the Terran player. Okay, game number 3. It takes us to Oxide LE. And once again, Mr. PartinG is sending out a probe right at the very beginning of the game. Now against Zerg, Protoss players like to do this to try and block the expansion from going up, but Terrans, generally speaking, don't go CC first in this matchup. Plus, even then, you wouldn't need to probe this early. Oh my god, look at that probe, actually. It looks like its tongue is hanging out. Are you seeing this? At like that angle, it kind of looked like a dog. You guys see that? Am I losing it? Is this when you've casted so much StarCraft that you see things that aren't even there? Please tell me I wasn't the only one that saw that. Kind of... Oh my god. Like a panting dog. Anyway. Barracks comes up. Pylon obviously gets built right here on the other side of the map. This is once more the second pylon. Is PartinG gonna go for the double gateway or just a single one? Gas starts up here as well. So he definitely can start going for some aggression once again. Oxide, once again, not a bad Terran map, although I don't really know exactly what the win-loss ratio is. Should I have a look? Oxide LE, Liquipedia. At the professional level for this matchup. PVT... Yeah, it's 52.5% in favor of Terran. So it's not terrible. Beckett Industries is quite a bit worse. Still not awful, by the way, but also, you know, not great for pros. Okay. Cybercore once again at home. Zealot comes up. Terran has no idea that this is happening. Did go for a Marine first this time around. Should be fine against the Zealot for the time being. Nexus, though, as a follow-up from PartinG. So he's basically showing the same build twice. At the very least, as far as what the Terran sees, he's showing the same build twice. He's actually saving up a second Zealot right now, too. Yeah, he's showing the exact same build. So this is probably going to trigger SpeCial to maybe defend against, once again, a potential Stargate transition. Whereas in the meantime, on the other side of the map, PartinG is happily making that Nexus ready to, yeah, just put on a little bit of pressure and then transition out of it. He hasn't seen a Reaper yet, so that's why he's forced to get some work done over here. Okay, SCV immediately goes down. If you can force a cancel right here on the command center, that would be absolutely phenomenal. Zealot's getting a little bit of work done right here on the reactor. It can't be repaired. Oh god, it can't be repaired until it's done. And it doesn't get finished. Stalker now also available. Yeah, if he can force this thing to be cancelled, I think that's basically game over. SpeCial at this point must realize as well that it's more than likely going to be a Nexus on the low ground as a follow-up. But this is so many SCVs already going down, man. Command center here is super important. Delaying those orbitals is annoying. Very painful. Is there going to be another Stalker? There is. The Zealots have gone down. Good target firing here once again by PartinG, though. Eventually that command center finishes, so that's something. But the problem is, isn't this already too many workers going down? 8. It's going to be 9. 10. Third Stalker is going to be out very soon as well, so I think there's going to be more workers going down, man. It's just Hellions and Marines. Okay, yeah. I was going to say, like, at this point, it's 29 workers for PartinG versus 16 for SpeCial. That's going to be hard to win. Now, when I first started watching StarCraft 2 myself, I noticed that in contrast to my own ladder games, the games didn't last until the final building was destroyed. So I know that some of you are maybe watching these games for a little while, or maybe you haven't watched in a bit, or maybe, you know, you're just wondering. Generally speaking, in StarCraft 2, I mean, the win condition officially is to destroy all of your opponent's structures, right? However, that never really happens in a pro game, or not never, but it happens very rarely. Main reason is that players just leave before that point arrives, right? Now, the reason why SpeCial ended up leaving in that previous game is because his economy was basically, I don't know, half of what the Protoss was at that stage in the game. You can imagine, by the way, SpeCial this time around, proxying a barracks. You can imagine, right, if that would go into a normal game, so PartinG would likely follow that up with like a Blink Stalker push. He's gonna not only have more Stalkers than his opponent, his opponent is just, or, well, he's definitely gonna have more Stalkers than his opponent. But he's gonna have, relatively speaking, way more Stalkers than what the Terran player can deal with. So rather than playing that out for like another 5 minutes, SpeCial's like, you know what? I can play uber safe and like turtle up really hard on 2 bases, but then PartinG picks up on that and just double expense himself, and then whatever happens, unless PartinG disconnects or makes like a ginormous blunder, I would say 99 out of 100 times that should be a you know, a Protoss win going forward. Anyways, I know it may look like it's a little bit of an early GG, and some people may be wondering, Lowko, why in the world would they GG out already? Because, I mean, he's still at 2 bases himself, the opponent at 2 bases as well. It's just that the game is going to then go on, you know, from that position into a normal game with one of the players very significantly ahead. And, I mean, at this caliber, I mean, you could play it out, right? But there's something to be said as well for stamina, especially when you're playing a best-of-5 series. I mean, if the first 10 meters... Okay, if the first, like, kilometer of your you know, 20-kilometer world record speed run is going really badly, should you not just reset and try again? I don't know. I don't know if that regular sports analogy would work out, but I can imagine it just... Yeah, there's something to be said for preserving not only, like, you know, your hands and whatnot, and not being forced to play super long games that are just going to be very painful. But also mentally speaking, I mean, if you already feel like you've lost at the 3-minute mark, sticking in the game for another 10 minutes, it's going to make you feel way worse. Once again, we have PartinG sending a couple units across the map. He's going to find out that there's a few supply depots over here because Terran has built his entire production farm right over here. So this is going to be relatively close to where the Protoss has taken an expansion. Lack of Expo has been spotted right here as well. Wouldn't mind seeing the PartinG Zealot maybe slicing away right there, or left slicing away rather, on the top of the depots. Anyways, he would have spotted this little... he might still spot it. Yeah, the little SCV train going in the direction of where those structures are. This is going to be some committed aggression though. So essentially a 1 base all in right here for SpeCial. There's a siege tank coming up. Medivac is going to be available as well. Let's see. A couple of shield batteries here being produced for PartinG. Okay. Battery overcharge, obviously, or charge rather, also very important. The problem is siege tanks, they have some nasty positions on this map that are very difficult to actually defend. So a couple probes end up going down. There's the battery overcharge. It's going to be on cooldown for like the next minute or so. So this is the best he's going to have. He's trying to buy time right now to grab himself a couple of those warpins. Attack moves on his own Stalker there for a second, which is definitely not what you're looking for. Another shield battery comes up. Batteries obviously are energy-based units. There's the siege tank. The batteries, once they run out of energy, will need to regenerate. I mean, you can also just siege up right over there, I guess. The Adept and the Zealot over here are trying to kill supply depots. And that actually is quite effective, because currently SpeCial did hit a bit of a supply block because of that depot going down. That being said, the units already were in production. It's not like he's flooding a ton of money here either. SCVs are trying to repair all of this back up to full HP. Is there going to be enough, though, for PartinG to hold on? That's the real question. He's dealing quite a lot of damage right now on the other side of the map. If he wins this game, he will win the series. SpeCial, once again, in a dire scenario when it comes to the work account, just like we had in the previous game, right? If somehow, some way, Protoss can stabilize here, that's really good. Now, nice pickup micro right there. Who needs prisms when apparently you have a Medivac? Okay, battery that was overcharged gets killed. All batteries right now on the low ground are gone. 10 SCVs, though, were killed. I guess the Zealot killed 5, and then this Adept killed 5 as well. And apparently the Adept is not done just yet. Liberator up in the air, though, making it hard to tiptoe for those Stalkers, right? They would like to tiptoe forward, but they will get hit every single time they make that move. Adept eventually gets surrounded here, too, but that is a ton of workers getting killed right there. Prism is coming up. Immortal is out as well. PartinG is known to pull rabbits out of hats with those units. That Liberator is very annoying, though. Okay. Ooh, does get the Immortal on top of the... Okay. Wow. Okay. He got the Immortal there on top of the siege tank. But eventually, I mean, it took one shot too many, I guess. The tank got another hit, and I'm pretty sure that could have been prevented. SpeCial loses a couple of his big hitters, but, I mean, there's another one rolling forward. He still has a tremendous amount of army over here. At this point, I think there might very well be enough Marines as well to just out-DPS the healing right here that those shield batteries provide. Weakened Marine gets picked up as well. Once again, picks up the weakened units. Beautiful control right here by the Mexican Terran player. Disruptor as a follow-up right now, so Robo Bay is done. That being said, there's only one pylon powering all of this. PartinG sees that it's getting targeted. And because of that, he decides to tap out. Alrighty, so game number 5, the rubber match. It's 2-2, and we find ourselves on 2,000 atmospheres. This has been a fun series. I mean, game number 1, a very macro-focused game. Both players just kind of testing the waters. SpeCial, of course, going for that mech build, which was a lot of fun to watch, even though it didn't really work out. Game number 2, 6 Stargate cheese. Game 3, once again, that gateway proxy on the other side of the map. And I guess speaking of proxies, SpeCial just proxied everything in game number 4, and it just barely ended up working out for him. When I say that, hello. Can't help but notice a little blue dot once again moving on the minimap. This doesn't have to be cheese, though. Yeah, he could just... Okay, he's just gonna build a barracks over here, which I know is somewhere out on the map, but this is not particularly close to the Terran player either. Or, sorry, to the Protoss player either. It's kind of close. It's closer to the Terran, though. The main reason to go ahead and do something like this is to throw the Protoss off guard, right? So PartinG tried to trick his opponent in game, what was it? Game number 3, and that worked out for him, actually. I mean, don't know if that was the reason why it worked out, but he tried to trick his opponent, and SpeCial right now is playing the same trick. It's like, you know what? You saw the lack of literally everything in the previous game. What you're gonna scout is 2 gases instead of my main base. Good luck trying to figure out exactly what is happening. Doesn't actually have to be anything super committed, by the way, but if SpeCial decides to go for, yeah, just a more macro-focused follow-up right now, he's definitely not in a bad spot. PartinG, though, doesn't really care. Plants the Nexus down on the low ground here regardless. After the Cybernetic Core, does go for the Zealot. Yeah, he's not going to forgo the Zealot, which makes sense, right? Factory, though, top of the ramp. PartinG probably will see that here in a second. He's looking for it. There you go. So he knows right now that this is likely... I mean, for all he knows, the barracks could be over here, right? He just knows that it's going to be something ever so slightly more aggressive here for the Terran player, but nothing too crazy. Barracks right now gets rallied on top of the Reaper as well, so the second Reaper will join his friend as soon as he possibly can. Okay. Stalker being chrono boosted out. Should be out plenty in time. Will any workers go down? Shouldn't. Nah. Alright. Nicely done. A lot of Protoss players are fond of going Stargate, but I wouldn't be surprised at all if PartinG once again decides to plant down a Twilight Council here in just a little bit. Seems to be his preferred way of playing. He did already go for the double Stalker approach. Double shield battery as well, so he is playing pretty cautiously. There goes Parry to probe. Saddest moment of my life right there. How many Reapers are we talking right now? We're going up to 3. Okay. Well, apparently a peace offering is being brought across the map right now. Twilight Council, by the way, indeed. On the other side of the map. Not surprising, not surprising. So apparently Parry right now will, at the very least, be attempted to be revenged. See if he can get any work done. This could get awkward, though. Yeah, the Terran units right now are on the other side of the map. SCV that was building this has already run away. This could get very awkward very fast. So this is probably a game that SpeCial will play out, even if he ends up going down quite a lot of workers here early on, or if he's delayed quite a lot. Okay, nice target firing here as well. Good control, though, by SpeCial. Getting a lot of work done. Lose the Hellion there. Probably could have kept that one alive. Ugh. Widowmine tried to burrow right there in that perfect position, but the unit already walked past. Terran units, though, are... Or sorry, Protoss units right now are kind of stuck. They can always recall on out of there if they really want to. But I think they're probably just going to try and maximize the amount of damage they can do. Nice grenade throw as well. Another Hellion will end up getting picked off. SCVs end up killing one of the Zealots. This is expensive. Very expensive for the Terran player to lose. Keep in mind, in the meantime, on the other side, right? We have the Twilight Council, of course, researching the Blink upgrade. We have PartinG happily expanding. Making a lot of workers. Not really concerning himself with anything else. Got even a third Stalker now just walked past the Widowmine. Apparently the Widowmine just barely not in the perfect position. And this is just denying so much mining time, right? How many SCVs have gone down at this point? Okay, not even that many. Another SCV will pop out of that command center very shortly. I mean, you shouldn't lose the command center. If you that would be bad. Okay, recall gets utilized here. Oh. Okay, that was just a little bit of a trophy right there, I guess, for SpeCial. PartinG definitely did not need to lose that. Stalkers, though, already moving across. Probably trying to see if they could potentially intercept a Banshee. Observer over here scouts that 2 Hellions are coming up, but already new Stalkers are available. Third Nexus has not been acquired yet. Okay, 2 more Hellions go down. Man, PartinG is really good. Couple of beauty errors here and there, I guess, but overall he seems to be looking very nice here. Assuming he doesn't lose too much to these Banshees, though. Yeah, most of the Stalkers right now are caught on the other side of the map. He does have Blink available, so he can definitely use these units here in the natural for defense, but how many probes will end up going down? Takes 2 of those Banshee hits when they're in sync. Yeah, indeed, to kill the probes in 1 hit, so the battery doesn't actually heal them in between. Blink into the main base of the Terran player as well, though. PartinG apparently looking to pile on the pressure in the meantime on the other side of the map, too. A lot of workers are being targeted down. SpeCial trying to defend both sides of the map at once. Okay, this is nice. Yeah, these 2 Banshees, man. I mean, it was looking really good for the Protoss player earlier, but then, you know, PartinG does this thing. He does this every time, where he just, like, sends the units that he's got to the other side of the map. I'm assuming recall is still on cooldown, right? It should be. Okay. Siege tank gets another shot over here. Oof. There goes the Stalker. Banshees over here. 8 kills each. Man. Yeah, it's nice to send the units across the map, and he did kill a bunch of SCVs, I suppose, but... I would still call this an advantage for PartinG, but... not as big an advantage as we saw earlier, at the very least. Colossus here, as a follow-up. First Colossus actually we're going to see in the series, which is kind of fun. That's true, right? Did we have a Colossus in any of the previous games? We didn't in game number 1 because it was mech. The other games didn't really get to that stage. Yeah. So even though this is a best of 5 where we're in series, on the final map of the series, there's the first laser giraffe, if I'm not mistaken. Extended thermal lens coming up as well. Charge is coming up. Third nexus being built. Not bad. Wow, decides to blink into the main base once again. It's a lot of stalkers, I suppose. It always scares me a little bit to do this as Protoss. Because it feels like those Terran siege tanks could be hiding anywhere. But I guess if you know exactly at what point they're supposed to be built and when they, you know, get constructed and how many you've destroyed, I mean, you may very well to get some good spots. I mean, can you blink up on that? I mean, you could if you wanted to. Instead, he decides to blink down. Doesn't want to overcommit because then the counterattack for Terran could be lethal. Once again, 10 SCVs end up going down. How many stalkers in total? 10. I mean, that's throughout the entire game, right? So, don't know exactly how many you lost just now in the main base. A handful, but really not that many. That decision, though, to blink into the main base, it looks easy when you have full minimap vision, right? Because we can see where those siege tanks are. And then, you know, it's pretty easy to make that call. But PartinG doesn't really know exactly where those are located, right? Like, say, for example, this second siege tank here, SpeCial would have made a gamble and siege that one up right over there. Then both of the tanks would be firing, Blink would be on cooldown, PartinG would lose a handful of stalkers more, and then the retaliation from the Terran player could be a huge problem. Oh, whoa, nice control there, man. Showing us why he's so good at the Blink micro. No. Triple Colossus. PartinG is such an aggressive Protoss. Look at this. These units are just marching through the map right now. Doesn't even have a... Does he have a prism? No, he doesn't even have a prism. Right? No, he's making it right now. The first one. Gets the Raven there as well. Once again, at the expense of a Stalker or two, but I guess that's fine. Do you want to regroup this army? There's a few Marauders in here. Really not that many. So the Colossus by themselves could definitely get some work done, but I think PartinG indeed tries to group his units back together. Fourth Nexus gets acquired here as the Terran is securing the third. PartinG sitting only on 4 gas geysers, so definitely planning on playing this more aggressively here going forward as well. Okay, charge on one of the siege tanks. Siege tank goes down. It's a lot of SCVs, man. Those lasers don't mess around. Oracle. Hallucinated version, that is. Tries to get a little bit of work done as well. Another siege tank gets picked off. This has been PartinG in the driver's seat of this game from start, yeah, until right now to finish. And that means, indeed, that it's going to be PartinG, the Red Protoss player from Korea, who ends up winning this particular series over SpeCial. I hope you enjoyed watching it. If you did, hit that like button down below. And if you want to see more, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you get notified as soon as future videos go live. I try to upload pretty much every single day. I usually post about 6 times or so a week. So yeah, if you're interested, make sure you hit the little bell icon as well so you get notifications on your phone. But anyways, for now, thanks for watching. Have an awesome day. Don't forget to smile. And I'll see you once again in the next one.